Hello, and welcome, everyone. I'm Sarah Cole. I'm the Interim Dean of the School of the Arts, and I am thrilled to see you all here. Congratulations to the 2024 graduating class of the School of the Arts at Columbia University. Congratulations on your extraordinary work over these years at Columbia and on your truly remarkable focus and dedication to your art in this exceedingly difficult time. Congratulations on having achieved the status of Masters of Fine Arts, well deserved for your accomplishments as filmmakers, theater makers, visual and sound artists, and writers, or having achieved the status of master's degree holder in film and media studies for your scholarship. We could not be more proud of you or delighted to see what you will do next. Please do remember that art is long. No one expects you to soar into the stratosphere tomorrow. But we know you will take your immense creativity and artistic integrity into all kinds of magnificent directions, changing the world along the way. And you will be joining a most stellar and decorated new group. Not new in the world, but new for you. The alumni of Columbia University's School of the Arts, a truly staggering mix of artists of every stripe who will welcome you into their august company. But you will be missed here. You've been members of this community in every way, as students and artists, of course, first and foremost, also as contributors to each aspect of our operation, whether in production, spearheading newsletters and other publications, collaborating with each other, since art is always collaborative, teaching and mentoring our undergraduates, volunteering in the community, and always helping us to think better through your advocacy and your empathy. This class shimmers and sparkles with creativity in every form. You hail from 42 different countries and from 28 US states, don't ask me to name them. Your backgrounds are as diverse and inspiring as your art is original and motivated. You know that you are put on this earth to do something, and you're doing it. To your families and loved ones and friends who have supported you in this very risky and frankly kind of questionable endeavor of going to art school, I want to give a big shout out. Thank you for supporting these incredible young artists. And in fact, if your shoes and other things allow it, for those friends and family loved ones, please stand up if it's comfortable for you to do so we can give you a proper thank you for supporting these people. Woo! To our faculty and staff at the School of the Arts, thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you. You are what makes this all happen. Our faculty at the school represent an unbelievably distinguished and productive group of artists and scholars, true leaders in their disciplines who have transformed their fields and the broader world. They are also, bar none, the most devoted teachers and mentors that you will find anywhere. And there's another group that is off the charts here at the School of the Arts, the staff. That word staff, I've got more to say, so you can hold on to the applause for them. It's a little bland and does not really capture the amazing ingenuity, commitment, collaborative ethos, and good humor of this diverse community who are in it for the students 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Faculty and staff who are here, including on the stage, if it's comfortable for you to do so, please stand so we can give you a proper, appreciative round of applause. Including on the stage. Woo! I want to name a few individuals for special notice. First, our 4 program chairs, Professor Jack Leshner, Professor Brian Kulick, Professor Deborah Paredes, and Professor Matthew Buckingham. And our 4 program directors, Hannah Seifu, wherever you are in the world, all right, pipe down, guys. Wherever you are in the world, you have to leave a pause after you say Hannah's name. Hannah Seifu, Laura Mosquera, Anna Woodruff, and Frank Winslow. And they will soon be addressing the audience and inviting our students to the stage. And let me add Professor Liz Harris, who will be stepping in for Professor Paredes, who could not be here tonight. Please also give some love to Jana Wright, Dean of Academic Affairs and Planning for the School of the Arts, whose devotion to this school is boundless, as are her intelligence and her heart. Let's take a moment to offer profuse thanks to the organizers and contributors to today's wonderful ceremony, and there are more than those I can name. But let's start with Layla Maher, the Dean of Students and Alumni Affairs, who, in addition to working day and night on this event, is the most steadfast, thoughtful, and brilliant ally for our students throughout their years here at Columbia. And Trent Pollard, Associate Director of Student Affairs, who has stepped up to help manage this ceremony with his trademark kindness, charm, and quiet persistence. Also in Student and Alumni Affairs, Jessica Pearson and Herbert Hugh deserve our gratitude for their work for this occasion. Let's give a big thanks, too, to Julie Dobrow, Dean of Admissions and Financial Aid, who first admitted you guys a few years back. Well done, Julie. There's so many other wonderful people and leaders to thank. I'm not going to do them all, but let me add Roberta Albert, our Associate Dean for Development, who works truly tirelessly to ensure the financial future of the School of the Arts. Christina Tate, who is our communications guru, and please stay in touch with her. And with all of us, I couldn't, okay, good. I'm happy the child here. As long as that's a happy sound, it's a good thing. And our leaders, I mean, happy in the general sense of the world. And our leaders in programming at Miller Theater, the Lenfest Center for the Arts, and all over campus, Melissa Smay, Lauren Weigel, and Gavin Browning. I wish also to thank the staff who are helping us here at Lerner Hall and our delegates for the event. They're helping us now, and they'll be with us through this evening for the reception that follows outside these doors and upstairs after the event. And finally, thank you to the great playwright and director, James Ijames, who will be our convocation speaker. We are here to celebrate you, our graduating students, and to share the joy of this moment, the completion of your studies. Just pause on that idea for a moment. And that is what we will do. But I do now need to take another pause to say, I don't know what exactly, that my heart aches for the pain, frustration, confusion, anger, and loss so many of you have expressed this year, that I believe entirely in the strength and resilience of our complex and often bristling community of artists, and I know we will not only prevail, but over time become a more ethical and compassionate community as a result of all this. That I have no doubt that if there is a way to move past our society's polarizing disagreements and the world's endless reliance on violence and war, that art will form an essential component of that change. That I wish you all peace in this next phase of your lives as graduates, and I hope fervently that our campus will reopen soon and forever to be again the rich and pluralistic commons that we all love. That the staff and faculty of the School of the Arts have shown astonishing care and concern in this time, and have really been there to make sure that you, our students, can be free to forge your art and chart your own paths forward. And as well, they've had to manage some really difficult conflicts. And I want to emphasize all of this. And yet, I wonder if these sincere wishes, views, and forms of gratitude suffice. I will say, as your dean through this year, that I have often felt insufficient. These are the times that try men's souls, Thomas Paine once said, and they do. During these months, I have found, as no doubt have others in this auditorium, that it is excruciatingly hard to make sure everyone knows that this is their place, that their views matter, that what they believe or know to be right and true can coexist with others' very different, passionate responses to this world in chaos. It is an impasse that many people are experiencing right now, this feeling of inadequacy toward a situation that at the same time needs all of us. It is difficult. It just is. But as artists and intellectuals and members of this beautiful Columbia family, we perhaps are gifted with the possibility of trying to shift how we think or what we aspire to know. I don't have a bold and clear proposition or a big idea. I promise you no one will ever ask me to give a TED Talk on this or anything. I don't actually know what a TED Talk is, but I know I'm not going to be asked to give one on this. But I would share one thought. I wonder if the key might be to expect not purity or fullness or even knowledge exactly, but some more insecure concepts and positions, the incomplete, the fragmentary, the almost. I'm not talking about facts, of course. Many of these can and must be known, and artists are always, in their own winding ways, on the side of truth. But perhaps it is both an ethical and an intellectual act to recognize the partiality of all vision and the need to learn from others, always and ever. Over the course of this year, I have often longed for an Olympian vision where I can see far and wide and know just how to act, if only. But old friends have offered their wisdom at these times. E.M. Forster wrote in 1938 in a volume called Two Cheers for Democracy. He wasn't ready to give it the third cheer yet. That was why it was called that. In that volume, he wrote, "I don't believe in belief." His creed instead was modest, espousing what he called personal relationships. Personal relationships. Here is something, this is Forster, here is something comparatively solid in a world full of violence and cruelty. Remember, 1938. Probably Forster's scale seems too intimate, too individual, missing the big structural realities that enable oppression, dominance, complicity, and dehumanization. And we do need belief. It is impressive to see how strongly people, especially young people, feel right now, and how much they are willing to do to stand up for those beliefs. But Forster's art was one that swelled through restraint. He made intense beauty in his fiction out of the small scale of human complexity, and I find that to be deeply instructive. What are the sentiments I've asked myself over these months that can express the dimension and tenor for right now, or some of them? How might we jostle these into life? In times of trouble, it is such a fortunate thing that we have art on hand with its immense resources. The poet Claudia Rankine, an MFA graduate of the School of the Arts, I might add, whose book Citizen has found its way onto the Columbia University undergraduate core curriculum syllabus, has given some models for thinking deeply in and around the gaps that separate disparate experiences and people. Here she is, for instance, at the end of her most recent book, Just Us, An American Conversation, quote, "What I know is that an inchoate desire for a future other than the one that seems to be forming our days brings me to a seat around any table, to lean forward, to hear, to respond, to await response from any other." That seems right to me and important. Our problems are relational, even within the big social structures and conditions that condition and contain us. We need to know how to cross over to one another, and that kind of knowledge may be as much about leaning and listening as anything else, and as she notes, to any other. We know, moreover, thanks to the social sciences, that the answers you get depend upon the questions you ask. Actually, we didn't need the social sciences for that. It's an obvious point, but they like to talk about it. It's also true that the quality of those answers depends on the spirit in which they are asked. It's not always possible to achieve or even to know what one seeks. Recognizing the limitations of knowledge, being open to the perceptions of the world as it is, and allowing oneself at times to think small or to attend intimately to what is here, all of this seems essential at this moment. "We shall not cease from exploration," T.S. Eliot wrote, "and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time." There's something so satisfying about that bedrock wisdom, one probed a few thousand years ago by the Greeks in their drama and philosophy. It's a recognition that the epic imagination, that which takes in the whole world, may be out of scale with what is needed or what is urgent at any given time. As an example, I know that many of you are adherents, as am I, to the promise and transformativity of live theater. It's that intangible something, the creation of a moment in time that is greater than the sum of its parts, modest in passing, yes, but also irreplaceable. Or on a totally different register, I am musing on Bruegel's famous painting of the fall of Icarus, that old and overdetermined myth, where Icarus crashes into the sea in the background, unnoticed by the vast majority of people going about their business. Art and scholarship, in fact, are some of the endeavors in life that are most able to resist the temptation to have complete command of any terrain. Rather, they forge ahead, attempting to gauge what can be expressed and accomplished, making their mark on the very site of these complex accommodations. For her part, Virginia Woolf, I'm always so happy that she's here when things go wrong. She hesitated at any totalizing aspirations. She set her vision and work against a large Western apparatus that hungers for a universal and implacable truth. The great revelation perhaps never did come, she has a character think. Instead, there were little daily miracles, matches struck unexpectedly in the dark. For me, as your dean, I seek and cherish these little daily miracles, these matches struck unexpectedly in the dark. It is you and your art that have provided this uplift, and for many of us at the school and more broadly, this has been a source of continual amazement and joy during a tumultuous year. This week, for example, has featured CUF, the Columbia University Film Festival. Oh my goodness, these scripts and films are awesome. No one told me at the first screening to bring my handkerchief, and my makeup got all messed up. These films are so moving and so funny and just all around fantastic. Or, still on display until the end of the week at the Lenfest Center for the Arts, you can have your mind blown by the beauty, creativity, and sheer power of the graduating visual and sound arts students' thesis exhibit. Our theater students, actors, directors, writers, producers, and all who make a production happen have been putting on show after show for weeks, every one of them of professional quality, full of wit, bursting with energy and intelligence, and the mood is so great in those shows every time. For our students pursuing a master's degree, they are digging deeply into the history of film and media, and also charting its future and helping perhaps to shape that future. Presenting at conferences and finding new ways to theorize the visual world in many contexts. And our writing students are doing work that is searching and ambitious, also funny and whimsical, and always original. You will all want to read this work, and I'm sure you will. These are the matches struck in the dark. These are the illuminations that burn brightly. But let me end with one final thought about all of this, which comes to us courtesy of the poet Wallace Stevens. He's thinking in this stanza about the insufficiency of even the very well-wrought image, which is, of course, something poets look for. There would still remain, he writes, the never-resting mind, so that one would want to escape, come back to what had been so long composed. The imperfect is our paradise. Note that in this bitterness, delight, since the imperfect is so hot in us, lies in flawed words and stubborn sounds. The imperfect is our paradise. That's my message. I offer the imperfect and the dialogic. I offer ends that never quite come, achievements that are partial, words and gestures that are flawed, and in all of that, a marker of what is great, human, transformational. I hope and believe that we will move forward together as a community of artists and scholars, as we have done through this difficult year. And I suggest that we may ease our path by embracing those flawed words and stubborn sounds, and by being forgiving of ourselves and of each other. To you, the never-to-be-forgotten class of 2024, I extend my warmest possible wishes. We at the school could not aspire for a brighter future for you, whatever that means for you, full of rich thinking, incredible creativity, and through it all, joy in your scholarship and in your art. Don't be too hard on yourselves. When things get difficult, as they will at some points down the line, remember that the imperfect can be your paradise. And please stay in very close touch with us. We will miss you. And now, it is my very distinct pleasure to invite to the podium our dear colleague, Brian Kulick, the chair of the theater program, a great practitioner in his own right, and an utterly devoted and exceptional citizen of the School of the Arts, who will introduce our convocation speaker.
Hi. Can you hear me okay? Excellent. Hey, I have the great pleasure to introduce our graduation speaker, James Ijames. As many of you know, he is a distinguished playwright, director, actor, and educator. Yeah. He's the co-founder of Arbiter 3, Philadelphia's first playwright producing collective. His work has been seen all over, but I'll just give you a couple places because we could be here all night. His work has been seen at such theaters as the Wilma Theater, the National Black Theater, the Geffen Playhouse, the Public Theater. I just learned he's going to be at the Royal Shakespeare Company soon. RC almost gets as much applause as Hannah does. And obviously on Broadway. He's been the recipient of such prestigious honors as the Whiting Award. I should practice these speeches beforehand. The Kesslering Prize, yeah, okay. The Steinberg Prize, and the 2022 Pulitzer Prize. For a play I am sure everyone in this auditorium has seen, Fat Ham. This absolutely remarkable work transposes Shakespeare's Hamlet to a backyard family barbecue in the American South. Jesse Green, I'm not a fan of, but Jesse Green, the critic for the New York Times, also not a fan of, wrote something absolutely brilliant about James. He wrote, "For me, seeing Fat Ham, even multiple times, remains a revelation and a balm. It does one of the most important things we ask of theater, to rehearse as many times as necessary better ways to be, instead of choosing not to." His most recent play, which you're all going to see, people, is Good Bones. It will be seen this September at the Public Theater. Please give a warm welcome to James Ijames.
Whenever anybody reads my bio, I'm like, who is that? Thank you so much. As I was sitting there, my watch beeped and it was like, your heart rate is too high, what are you doing? I'm about to speak to the future. I want to thank Columbia University and the School of the Arts for inviting me here tonight. I want to thank you to the family and the loved ones of the graduates for being here and supporting your students. When I'm not writing plays, I'm teaching college students, and I can confidently say that the next generation will continue to show us things we can't currently see and teach us things we need to know. It is a thrill to be here with you all today. From your glowing faces and your anxious eyes, I can see you stand ready to dive headfirst into the world beyond the walls of this campus that you have come to know so well. You've come a long way, and now you are poised to leap into the next stage of your life, equipped with all of the creative wisdom your faculty has bestowed upon you, and I am so honored to be a part of this rite of passage. And I truly hope that some part of what I say will be helpful to you. So, where to start? First thing, the most important and paramount thing in my artistic and pedagogical practice is to do no harm, and I'm going to try to maintain that today. I want to talk to you about beginnings. One of the great joys of my life right now is hearing my little baby cousin, Alexander, laugh. And I'm so struck by how easily he gives over to the pleasure of laughter. And I'm going to play it for you. Isn't that cute? Oh my God. His mother sends me those almost daily. And when I get one of those texts from her, I always respond back with some bold image for his future, right? A life in service, a life committed to medicine, a life in the arts. Because I want whatever this kid wants to do in the future to be available to him. He's right at the beginning, and beginnings are important. They set the pace, they launch, and though at this moment you feel like you're at the end of a thing, you are at a decisive moment of beginning. The first card in the tarot deck is called the Fool. And I convinced my husband to buy my first deck while we were in Paris because I had read this article by Alexander Chi about tarot as a writing tool. The card always is welcomed whenever I'm throwing cards on the table. The card, the Fool, is the card of beginnings. I love it when it shows up for me because it reminds me to begin again, to keep trying, to start from the beginning again, to remember the exhilarating sensation of not knowing what is next. The Fool card depicts a young, hopeful person at the beginning of a journey. They are dressed beautifully. The sun shines behind them, setting while illuminating the path forward. In the Fool's right hand is a staff with a knapsack for travel. The left hand holds a flower, which I've always taken to mean that the Fool values beauty. The Fool has a companion with him. It's a little white dog down in the bottom right corner, and it's yapping at the Fool as if to say, "Fool, you're about to jump off of a cliff, watch out." And I love it because it is a beautiful visual representation of every moment of beginning in my own life. Whenever I encounter this card, I fall more and more in love with the idea of beginning, requiring purpose, companionship, and perhaps most importantly, the ability to move without knowing what's next. Some would say that's reckless. Some would call that faith. But I believe that the beginning of creative imagination is not knowing. And I know this is an unnerving and scary thing to consider, but it has been proven to me to be very true. The moments when I am at a starting place, I am acutely aware that I don't know what I'm doing and what is next. And the thing that has never failed me in that moment is to continue. When it's hard, when it's scary, when you feel invisible, choosing to continue is radical, holy, and immensely powerful. My favorite musical artist released an album recently, and the opening track has these lines: "Can we stand for something? Now is the time to face the wind. Covered in peace and love, y'all. Oh, a lot of taken up space. Salty tears beyond my gaze. Can you stand me?" When I was invited to speak with you all, I asked myself, what do I believe is most important for artists to know as they begin their practice in the world? And I came to this conclusion. You are emerging into a life as an artist at the best time in a long time, because the slate is clean. What could I possibly mean when I say that? The world is horrible, right? Over the last several years, we've experienced a generational global pandemic and massive social justice uprisings, and we have become acutely aware of how fragile the systems that guarantee us freedom genuinely are. Conflict and strife in every corner of the globe. Old ideas that we thought were relegated to the past have hurtled back with a vengeance. We are robbed of notions of safety and moral high ground and forced to reckon with a history that is both uncomfortable and confusing. But this is a tilling of the soil, the turning over of something used and resourced in order to grow something new and powerful and nutritious. And then there is art itself in crisis. It's expensive, exclusive, inequitable. It is underfunded and embattled by social and political pressure, transforming artists into Jacobs wrestling with proverbial angels of capitalism and trends. Followers, platform, and algorithm tell us what is next. And with that, we have lost our urge for curiosity and our hunger for wonder. All these things are true, and yet, what I see and what history has been so good at teaching us is that seeds are planted in the darkness. You are the seeds. You're building strength and depth. Plants, when they first begin to grow, they grow down first before they grow up. That's a thing you all have spent the last several years doing, drilling down into the rich, black complexity of the beauty of this moment that you're in. Now you have the strength to break through the soil. We need you to make great art. We need you to push the form. Whatever it is that you may do, imagine what can be done with it next. We need you to bring the art closer to our bodies and to our communities and less in our social media feeds. We have always been stronger together than as a sea of individuals fighting for a seat at the top. Yes, the top. Let's talk about her. A mythical place that keeps getting higher and further with every step. I offer to you a different exercise in dreaming. Graduates, close your eyes. Like for real, close them. Nobody's gonna hurt you. What does your best life look like? Who's around you? What are you doing? Take a mental picture of yourself and save it. Now, consider what values underpin that best life. Is it money? Is it virility, community, knowledge? You can open your eyes now. Make your journey about challenging yourself and not trying to attain some nebulous thing you have no control over. Control what you can, your work, your practice, your relationships. There is much that you do command. You are not powerless, although the world may make you feel you are. Establish your own path to becoming the artist you must be, and I say must because I believe that being an artist is a calling and a civic good. To use the language of my discipline, the theater, y'all. Art is a rehearsal for society. And artists at their full power are the actors. They try, fail, embody massive ideas, pick up cues, and author an experience that will one day meet a world in desperate need. As I begin to close out, I love making lists. If you read my plays, there are lists in my plays. I think that they are an amazing way to ground oneself and to be meditative. So I've created a list of things that I hope for you all, the graduating class of 2024. Number 1, disrupt the canon. Everything that was, is, and will be is on a continuum. Get out there and flip some tables. 2, refine your taste and then privilege it. People will consistently tell you what is good or bad about what you make. Make sure you know why it is good for you. 3, get your dopamine from wonder and not from algorithms. Easier said than done, I know. Getting likes feels good, I know. But have you ever seen a baby laugh? Seek wonder. You will age. Allow your art to go with you. Allow time and age to deepen and expand your practice. This isn't mine, but I love it and I live by it. Number 5, plant trees the shade of which you will not live to enjoy. This is so important right now. Make art that's ahead of its time. Develop practices that will improve the working conditions of the people that come after you. Invest in the generation after you, even at this early stage in your career. Number 6, look to your left, look to your right. Don't bother looking up. Never look back. These are your people. The people beside you are the people that will lift you, and you will lift them. Climbing as you go, you will make it there faster together. Number 7, there's only 10, I promise. Find an artist that has been forgotten from the past and make it your spiritual practice to revive their work and memory. Number 8, revere popular art with the same respect you reserve for great art. Culture is mercurial and attached to time and history. Hip-hop albums win Pulitzers, and Barbie movies get nominated for Oscars. You can do whatever you want. 9, pay your taxes, save something every week, buy a house with your best friend instead of your spouse, or make your spouse your best friend. They don't teach artists about money. You need to know about money. 10, this is our last one. Surround yourself with people that tell you the truth. Yes, people stunt your growth. You need people to tell you no. You need to know what it feels like to have to begin again. No is not a punishment. It's clarifying. All right? Go where you're celebrated and not tolerated. I share this because you will hear people say no to you. You will hear, not right now. You will hear, it's not your time. Take the sadness, the disappointment, the pain, and fold it back into the work. You reveal more of you when you are vulnerable in that way. To conclude, I want to encourage you, because I know this is a destabilizing moment of graduation. To quote Toni Morrison, you are your best thing. I encourage you to go out and make a mess of it all. See if you can imagine a new world, one we have never seen before. I believe in the human capacity to transform, adapt, grow, and evolve. We are the best thing. We are all we have. So get out there, be the best things, and just watch what happens. I am so excited for you. You're going to change the world. Congratulations, class of 2024. And in the parlance of my industry, break a leg.
Well, James, you were entitled to drop the mic after that, and I am cursed to have to pick it up again. So thank you. Hi, I'm Jack Leschner. I teach creative producing in the film program, and I'm also the chair. The other day, the film program had a Zoom meeting for faculty and staff. It was really more of an impromptu group therapy session because it's not just Columbia students who have been having a difficult time this year. The raw nerves, frustration, outrage on campus have also taken a toll on professors and staff members, and we all needed a space to vent, bear witness, and be comforted by the fact that none of us are alone in this. Anyway, in this Zoom meeting, my esteemed screenwriting colleague, Trey Ellis, made reference to one of my favorite movies, Sullivan's Travels, written and directed by the great Preston Sturges. And ever since then, I cannot stop thinking about that movie. If you've seen the film, you already know where I'm going with this. But since it's a black and white movie from 1941 starring Joel McCrea and Veronica Lake that shows occasionally on TCM, you might not have. It's about John L. Sullivan, an outrageously successful Hollywood film director based on Sturges himself. His hit movies, all frothy comedies, include Ants in Your Plants of 1939 and Hey Hey in the Hayloft. He has everything he ever wanted except self-respect. What he really wants to direct is an adaptation of a very serious novel about poverty in America called Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And yes, the Coen brothers have seen Preston Sturges' movie. That's where they got the title. But John L. Sullivan's butler, of course he has a butler, tells him he doesn't actually know anything about poverty in America, and in fact he doesn't. So he dresses up as a hobo and ventures out to learn for himself. He has all kinds of adventures in which he is constantly brought upside the head by the difference between his fantasy of the real world and what the real world is actually like. At his lowest point, he ends up in prison doing time for a murder he didn't commit. And just as he's in the depths of despair, the prisoners are all herded into the common room and shown a Walt Disney cartoon. And for a moment, they forget their troubles and laugh. And Sullivan, of course, has an epiphany. When he gets out of prison, I won't tell you how he did it, you should see the movie, he abandons his plans for Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And at the end of the movie, he says, there's a lot to be said for making people laugh. Did you know that's all some people have? It isn't much, but it's better than nothing in this cockeyed caravan. Please do not take me too literally. I'm not suggesting you should all go out and make comedies, although some of you certainly should, and the world would be better for it. The reason Trey Ellis mentioned Sullivan's travels, and the reason I can't stop thinking about it, is that art matters. The harder things are in this world, and they certainly are hard right now, the more art matters. Art has the ability to change hearts and minds. Stories are the most effective ways to create empathy, to put us in someone else's shoes and give us a glimpse of understanding about their lives. Art has changed my own life so many times that I have lost count. And that gives me hope in these tough times. Specifically, and I'm now speaking to the film students over here, you give me hope. This weekend at the Columbia University Film Festival, I saw some of the most exciting and inspiring filmmaking I've seen in ages. I saw the work of directors, writers, and producers who have something to say, and after 3 or 4 years in our program, have the tools with which to say it. Many of those artists are MFA film students sitting in this room right now, about to graduate. And seeing how talented you are and how far you've all come since entering the program made me feel happier than I have felt in quite a while. I felt like John L. Sullivan watching a Disney cartoon. MA film students, I am also talking to you, because art matters, writing about art matters, teaching about art matters, analyzing art matters, understanding why art matters, matters. So please, all of you, keep doing it. Keep doing what you came to this program to do and what this program has helped you to do better. You're not just doing it for yourselves, you're doing it for everybody in the world who desperately needs it, who needs your gifts. They don't know who you are yet, they don't know they need those gifts, but they do, and they will, and soon. It's better than nothing in this cockeyed caravan. And thank you, and now let me introduce Director of Academic Administration, Hana Seifu, who will call up the graduates in film.
We're going to start with the MA Film and Media Studies program students. Alexandria Allen. Hui Yin Man. Isabel Brown. Natalia Espinosa. Maxwell Gong. Ren Fei Go. Mai Jin. Stefan Kazmuz. Emily Sue Bin Ko. Mei Yi Liu. Eileen Liu. Jia Liu. Peyton McCarty Simas. Yuan Ren. Yi Ting Sung. Daniar Sun Debai. Christopher Wang. Ying Dong Wang. Paige Wills. And now we will start with, we'll end with our MFA film class. Anastasia Ayazi Dermaki. Alexandra Bateman. Shravari Bhatt. Paula Claire Bourgie. Raleigh Shawnee. Chin Fan Chen. Oliver Chen. Nina Cochran. Imani Cook Gist. Maya Kozier. Ray Dong Scott. Anna Isabel Dow. Emily Everhard. Heather Francis. Laura Ganotis. Yasmin Golmeyai. Shanming Gao. Camille Hamadet. Chad Hamilton. Javier Kirschleier. Xiao Wen Chu. William Ikaza Kellogg. John Lacosta. Kilu. Zhen Weng Long. Xiao Menglu. Maheka Chahat Lutinel. Sharon Mayo. Halel Mujigila de la Kenga. Melina Maraki. Alvaro Nunez Seki. Charles Neto. Sierra Nutkovich. Jin O. Nicole Pagones. Grace Phillips. Hector Prat. Aaron Ramirez. Aurora Cacho Real de Azua. Melanie Risch. Faranak Sahafen. Prashant Sathpath Kurmaran. Leah Simone Scott. Vivian Shaw. Gorby Mufan Shi. Vishnu Sinha. Maggie Talbot Minkin. Shuli Tang. Wang Chi Tan. Jinyue Wang. Xia Yongwon. Max Westmark. Hong Wei Wu. Han Chengzhu. Kunal Yan. Cody Young. Mai Chi So. Congratulations, you guys.
Hi, I'm Brian Kulick, Chair, Theater. So, like many of us, I've been thinking a great deal about these challenging times. The world, as we've seen, has a habit of changing on us and not always for the best. Current events can make it hard on a day like today, where we traditionally put aside the cares of the world in order to celebrate the immense talent and potential that fills this auditorium. But to be completely honest with you, even without such world-altering events, I have always struggled to find the proper vocabulary for this momentous occasion. The words that come to me always end up seeming somehow inadequate to what wants to be said, what needs to be said. This particular difficulty in finding the right words often leads me back to John Coning's Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. This is a book which coins new words for emotions that we feel but don't yet have language to express. I sifted through several hundred entries in the hopes of finding a word or words for what we are all experiencing right now in this instant. I found two. The first is des vu. This means the awareness that this very moment is about to become a memory. It's not bad. But I think Koning has an even better word. It's a hard word to pronounce, so bear with me. Karyosclerosis. This, according to Koning, is the moment you look around and realize that you're currently happy. Consciously, you try to savor and hold on to this feeling as it slowly and inevitably dissolves into little more than an aftertaste. Those were the only two I could find. It's the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. I'm sorry. Both words, capture this entropic nature of any moment, which, ends up disappearing into the insatiable maw of the past. And yet, this particular moment also simultaneously points in the other temporal direction, towards what the philosopher Ernst Bloch called the great not yet, aka the future. I suppose we already have a batch of words for this concomitant feeling, words like anticipatory, expectant, or hopeful. These words could work for this occasion, although they strike me as a tad too tentative and reticent. Okay, they sent me to another dictionary, compiled by Hannah Veeden. It's entitled Word Hoard. This dictionary is of Old English, and when I say old, I mean old. We're talking Beowulf old. Words from the very progenitors of our own English language. Here in this book, I discovered that I'm a larlo, which means a servant of lore. And you, our amazing graduates, are lornungmun. This means you're learning people. Together, we've spent these past 3 years studying our respective crafts, which they spelled C-R-A-E-F-T-S, Somewhere along the centuries, this word lost its unnecessary E and much of its multitudinous signification. For our English-speaking forebears, this word covered a wide range of attributes. These included power, strength, art, skill, trade, cunning, knowledge, and virtue. I sincerely hope that during your time with us, you've obtained, if not all 8 of these abilities, at least 3 or 4, along with the assurance that those other missing qualities will arrive in time. Please rest assured that we believe you've acquired enough craft so that we can all gather in this space, what the ancients called a celdrum, or a hall of mirth, so that we can finally experience the word that sent me on this long, protracted search. It's what our English progenitors called the feeling of load-win. This means people joy. According to Hannah of Eden, it is what we can't help feeling when we're with our people. A very specific kind of joy that comes from being in the midst of a shared community. This is what we're all experiencing right now, the unspoken realization that we are not alone, that there are still things that can bring us all together, and somehow this togetherness amplifies the beauty of our world, making it momentarily feel like a better, brighter place of possibility. So, can we be a people of joy when there's so much pain and suffering around us? How does one do this and address the dire state of affairs that we find ourselves in? There seems to be no dictionary, old or new, with words to help answer such questions. Which is why we need you. We need you to find new words, images, thoughts, and feelings to address these challenging times and help mend our broken sense of community. Because, whether you like it or not, we're all in the load-win business. And I know you will seize these strange and troubling days and squeeze out of them a great painting, book, film, or theater piece that will have the power to incite or inspire us to a finer future. You better, because the world sure needs it. And I know you won't disappoint. I know because I've seen it happen time and time again, graduation after graduation. So, what are you waiting for? Get back to work. Wake us up. Reunite us. Now. We can't wait another minute. Thank you. I would like to introduce the theater program's Director of Academic Administration, Anna Woodruff, who will read the names of the 2024 MFA graduates in theater.
Good evening, everyone. Aaron Joseph Anderson. William Apia. Weda Baldota. Molly Elise Bars. Sarah Elizabeth Bedwell. Catalina Beltran. Miguel Bertrand. Evangeline Billups. Miguel Bregante Garcia. Daniel Charles Brown. Darius M. Buckley. Stephen Bush. Aditya Lal Chada. Sarah Chalfi. Bradley Cherna. Samantha Clark. Antonia Cruz Kent. Mary Alex Daniels. Darby James Davis. Maria Fernanda de Barros. Charles Gimming Denton. Gianna Durante. Sahil Dhaliwal. Natalia Escobedo. Andrew Freeberg. Emily Everett Garrison. Sam Gibbs. Odette Gross. Cami Rose Roberto Hancock. Aries Harper. Foad Hassan. Jonathan Hogue. Emily Klepis. Michael Landez. Andrew Mardirian. Amelia McGinnis. Tiffany McLarty. Thea McRae. Lillian Modern. Roberto Perez Kempton. Alexis Proctor Turner. Devin Ramirez. Amanda Ricard. Megan Rifkin. Zach Lopez Roa. Annabelle Romero. Fernando Segal. Danitza Selim. Julian Shaheen. Tiffany Marie Swally. Victoria Ungvarsky. Elena Vanoni. Sabrina Victor. Eben Wong. Spencer Whale. Abigail Williams Joseph. Mijuen Ye. Jonah Yoder. Rivon Youssef. Congratulations to the class of 2024.
Wow. Amazing. So, I'm Matthew Buckingham. I am the chair of visual arts. And we have nothing to consult except our own intuition and the behavior of some of our favorite animals. But it's not hard to imagine that before we, genus Homo, had the habit of speaking, we may have related among ourselves by showing things to each other through direct touch and making sounds. These types of understanding would have kept us physically close together. Speech, if you're loud enough, penetrates space, and writing overcomes distances of both space and time. The alphabet is a technology that is absorbed by the very young child in a completely unconscious manner, by osmosis, so to speak. Words and the meaning of words predispose the child to think and act automatically in certain ways. The meaning of a word is how we collectively agree to use it in the game of language. The meaning of, or the way we use the word artist, could be characterized as a person who changes objects. We could substitute, he created a new piece, for she changed another object. The implied question would be always, why did she change that object? And what does it have to do with me? For many of you, visual artists, your form of speech includes doing things to and with objects, some of which are also images or sounds. And speaking personally, it has been an amazing journey for me to see you doing this and to see how all of it has changed over the last 2 years. But tonight, we are here to do things with words. Lately, we have all been saying a lot of words about words and speaking about speech, particularly speaking freely about no law abridging the freedom of speech or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition for redress of grievances. Many of us have been asking now in this particular moment, how can we, how should we, how will we go on? It may help to remember in this challenging time that there is absolutely no inevitability as long as there is a willingness to contemplate what is happening. It is also essential to remember that we belong to a special community devoted to inquiry into truths of all sorts, a community in which anything can be studied and anything questioned, a community bound together by difference and disagreement, but above all by our common belief in those truths. The word commencement, our purpose here tonight, may also be helpful to us. In this convocation, we give that word both a sense of ending and beginning, which reminds me that we always find ourselves somewhere in the middle of things. Words mean how we use them, and that means that words can also change the meaning of things in the world, and even change us. I think that is something that we're all actually working toward. And in a very specific way, at the end of this ceremony, Sarah Cole, our intrepid Interim Dean of the School of the Arts, will change all of you in the class of 2024 with just a few words when she performs some cultural magic. Wait for it. Until then, I wish to mark and celebrate your amazing achievements, your fantastic work, your beautiful exhibition. On behalf of myself and the visual arts faculty and staff, congratulations to the class of 2024. Now I will introduce Laura Mascara, Visual Arts Director of Academic Administration, who will read the names of our graduates.
It's hard to follow theater. Our graduates' energy is more internal. It's beautiful, don't get me wrong. Lorna Phineas. Sasha Fishman. Ari Forrester. Jing Heron. Sean Harrison. Roxana Kadrova. Claudia E.J. Kim. Chu Chiao Chloe Lee. Yiwei Lu. Kai O. Stephen Stallings. And these are the names of our other students who are graduating. Candela Bado. Andy Carver. Olivia Jerson. Alana DeVito. Erica Enriquez. Krista Gay. Valeria Guillen. Ian Ha. Sharon Yeoxi He. Nima Jizun. Christian Kowloon. Youngmin Park. Benjamin Celeste. Sofia Shpurova. Taekyung TK Se. Johanna Velasquez. Shaichin Huang. And Julian Zinda. Congratulations to the beautiful souls in Visual Arts and Sound Art class of 24.
Hi, everybody. I'm not Deborah Paredes. I never will be, but I agree with every word she said. She wanted very much to be here, but she had a family emergency. I'm Liz Harris. I'm a professor of writing, and congratulations. For every word she says comes from me, too, but it's her words. Good evening, and congratulations to my fellow writers and to the communities of family and friends who helped you arrive at this impressive achievement, made all the more remarkable during this year of turmoil and devastation in the larger world and on campus. As writers, we understand intimately the strict tyranny of the alphabet that determines our order on stage tonight, and leaves me in the unenviable position of speaking after all of my brilliant colleagues have already shared moving insights and advice. For that reason, I will keep my remarks brief. In this moment, I prefer to interpret our ordering this evening as evidence that writers often bear the awesome responsibility and privilege of having the last word. We craft poems that are memorized and recited during times of joy and woe. We create expansive narratives that challenge the limitations of the official record. We bear lasting witness. This is what makes our work so thrilling and so dangerous. We are indeed living in a time of tremendous and relentless threat against writers. In your final year as MFA students, we witnessed a record number of writers imprisoned globally from China to Iran, the murder of over 100 journalists in Gaza, and the widespread banning of books across the United States. And through it all, every one of you kept writing. I applaud your courage and determination, your delight and your clarity amidst so much darkness. I can think of no group of writers better suited to the task of assembling the words that will lead us, like Ariadne's thread in the labyrinth toward possibilities we can't yet see. Keep telling the truth. Keep imagining worlds beyond the bounds of this one. Keep making words holy again. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz, and the rest of our speakers. My name is Frank Winslow. I am Director of Academic Administration for the Writing Program, and we will now start our procession to the stage. I would like to congratulate all of our students and all of the families who will be celebrating tonight and those who could not be with us tonight. Thank you all. There is a way of validating all of your parking tickets if you click on 3 buttons on your app on your phone. Hello. Thank you so much. Meredith Aristone. Anthony Ashley. Dhruv Bhatia. Thomas McCacken Chiambang. Patricia Connolly. Ryan Cook. Kelly Diodato. Thank you. Abigail Eastman. Gabriella Toniru. Brenna Feeney. Jonathan Fletcher. Jeffrey Giller. Robert Gold. Way to go, Robert. Melita Granger. There we go. Emily Gutierrez. Sophia Hatab. Lauren Harrington. Alexis Hutchinson. William Hutton. Emily Christine Johnson. Sullivan Jordan. John Judge. Aziza Kosimov. Alexandra Kukov. Lee Liu. James Lyle. Gabrielle Macquarie. Damian McClendon. John Melendez. Skylar Melnick. Sophia Montrone. Diana Morales Gomez. Sean Murphy. Tatiana Pakratova. Imani Parker. Ariel Pang. Grace Plowden. Madison Quint. Heather Rumsey. Inez Rodriguez. Joel Sedano. Jessica Shofi. Luciana Syracusano. Ethan Smestad. Caitlin Smith. Ariel So. Jennifer Stewart. Audrey Summers. Wally Suphop. Sarah Swinwood. Kate Valanote. Rebecca Winterick Knox. Ong Shu. Congratulations to the class of 2024.
And just because it matters, I forgot one person's name, Colm Keaty Dabal.
right, thank you, everyone. Should we give a round of applause for those amazing name readers? All right, graduates, please rise. This was the moment that Matthew was alluding to. This is it. You have done it, so let's make it official. Are you ready? Having completed the requirements for the Master of Fine Arts or Master of Arts, I now confer on you these degrees with all the rights and privileges thereto attached. Congratulations.